The following is an EHC media production.
Hey, good morning. Put the kids to bed or send them to school, whatever you do at this time of day. Go ahead and grab a popsicle, grab an egg, a hard-boiled egg, some scrambled eggs, some pancakes, some pound cake, a fruit cake, some booty butt cakes, I don't know, little Debbie snack cakes, whatever you need to do to get yourself settled in. Welcome to WhenXT. This is your host, Brian Green, here to bring you the weekly who, what, when, where, why, how, what's going on in the land of Full Sail University and the NXT universe. And we had a pretty light week on the show, so probably going to blow through it rather quickly. Thank you for joining me once again. If this is your first time checking out the program, welcome. I usually go through what happened on the episode, talk about some of the wrestlers, some of their backgrounds. The program is designed to fill in people who don't have time to check out the program, or those who would just like to recap what happened and discuss it along with me. So I have a good time doing this. This is Season 2, episode number 4. Without further ado, let's get into it and show you what I'm all about. So the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, who was still on crutches, and the newly added Roderick Strong, they opened the show, kind of like an NWO style promo here in the back, just chilling, rapping, talking to each other. Adam Cole says that he is a giver due to making Oney Lorcan a part of a trivia question of who he beat in his first NXT North American Championship match. Kyle O'Reilly then says that Oney Lorcan's partner, Danny Burch, shouldn't dare interfere with their affairs again or he'll end up hurt. Roderick says that what he did to Pete Dunne at TakeOver will pale in comparison to what he does to Pete Dunne tonight in the main event. So the Undisputed Era, they're making these guys look strong. They're continuing to give these guys a great push as they open the show with all their cockiness and glory gloating over what they've done over the past few weeks or so. So the show opens. We have the crowd ravenous as always with their NXT chants after the show video opens. First match we have is Kairi Sane against Shazza McKenzie. And Sane looks adorable as always in her pirate princess getup. She has the robe, she has the hat with the feather in it, she has the captain's wheel that she carries with her. She is the winner of the Mae Young Classic. She beat Shayna Baszler in the finals, so she does have some history with the current NXT Women's Champion. She is facing Shazza McKenzie. She's a former gymnast. She looks like Britney Spears circa 2003. She is pretty robotic in this match. She sold very poorly for Kairi Sane, and she was stiff. If I didn't know any better, she seemed injured or too green, but being too green seems a little impossible because I did mention that she was an 8-year veteran, so I don't know what was going on. But she threw Sane her heart. Her gear on her chest was shaped like a heart, so she shaped it out and threw it at Sane. Sane threw it up in the air, threw that away, didn't want any part of that. Real quick 3-minute match. Sane hit a spear, a sliding elbow to a downed Shazza in the corner, and a flying kabuki elbow strike. Jumped off the top rope, landed an elbow onto the jaw of Shazza. Then Sane hit the Alabama Slam, which she calls the Tokyo Slam. She then goes to the top rope and hits the insane elbow with great impact and flawless execution to continue her winning ways in NXT, sending a message to her rival, NXT Women's Champion, Shayna Baszler. This match was a D match. It was purely just a showcase. Kairi Sane, again, speaking on Shazza McKenzie, I don't know if we'll see her again, but hopefully if we do see her, she will have a better performance. If she's an 8-year veteran, this performance really had me fooled. Onward, Lacey Evans, the Marine mother, she was a real deal Marine. serving for her country. She would usually come out looking like Sailor Moon, looking like a pinup, kind of like a sailor outfit, a skirt. She looks different today. She has those olive green army-like fatigues on, like a cropped top and a green army skirt. Her hair is not pinned up, it's down. She looks darker. And if I don't know any better, I did see photos of her in a stable with Wesley Blake and a few others. So I saw this appearance, and it reminded me of seeing her with that stable on the house shows. So I feel like they will bring that stable to light very soon. Getting back to the confrontation between Evans and Sane, she says that she wants to offer an apology for doubting Kairi Sane's effort. Kairi Sane did defeat Lacey Evans a few weeks ago, so she says, I apologize. You beat me. You do deserve to be here. Shake my hand. I'm sorry. So Sane contemplates it, and for her efforts, Evans just sucker punches Sane, takes her out, and this is definitely shades of a darker character for Lacey Evans, which is good. They need to revamp the women's division. A lot of the women have gone up to Raw or SmackDown. They need to build up some challengers for Shayna, who's just sitting at the top of the mountain lonely without a plausible challenger. So there's a recap of Tommaso Ciampa's assault on Johnny Gargano that took place last week. We saw Ciampa boot Gargano's head into the LED board. The air raid crash off the stage through the tables and the electrical cables. You saw how Candice LeRae did a fantastic job of being dramatic and crying and saying it's going to be okay, and she toughed it out. She's devastated as she's being interviewed by Kathy Kelly here. She's devastated by the years she's had, how she thought that Ciampa was her brother and family to them, and how proud she was to be finally in NXT with her husband. She begins to cry again during the interview process. Real tears here. Fantastic job by Candice. And she is distraught about her husband being carried out on a stretcher last week. Understandably so. She forces herself out of the interview segment saying that she has to get ready for her match with Bianca Belair. And what a babe Candice LeRae is. She looked very sympathetic here, did a very good job. We have a vignette for Lars Sullivan, 6'3", 300 pounds, this bald, intelligent, overbearing man. He says touching the gold at TakeOver gave him a new hunger and a new thirst for violence. And anyone with gold around their waist is marked for destruction. This is the era of destruction, and it begins now. The package shown here is real quick. It highlights his dominance, and it shows flashes of each champion in NXT minus Shayna, even though Shayna versus Lars would be pretty interesting. I'd be scared if I had a strap. I'd be scared if I was a champion, because Lars Sullivan wants some gold, and I feel like he's going to get it very, very soon. From who? Who do you think? You see Lars Sullivan going up against Adam Cole? You see Lars Sullivan and Aleister Black having a good match? I think so. So we'll see where that goes. Up next, we have a tag team match between the Street Profits and TM61, and I was very interested to see the Street Profits in a match where there is no nonsense, where a legitimate wrestling match is called for. TM61 can go, so I was hoping that they would not make this very high-performing tag team look like goofs because they were associated with a goofy act like the Street Profits. And here come Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins dancing as only they can, getting the Full Sail University hyped. And what a great act this is, very reminiscent of how Enzo and Cass got the audience hyped with minus the dancing and the mic work. Street Profits have this natural charisma that fills the Full Sail Arena, but I think that's the only place that they would have that success. This is a shelf life gimmick to me. I don't see it doing very well on the main roster, like a No Way Jose or an Adam Rose. I believe the cliche is funny, don't make money. I don't know. Anyway, here come TM61, who have had a bit of a bad luck streak since returning to NXT. And a few weeks ago, they did a lot of vignette packages on Shane Thorne and Nick Miller, the two members of TM61. These Australian-born boys came a long way. They were really inspired by Dusty Rhodes, who worked closely with them before he passed away. And a lot of the matches they had in the past, they had a Dusty Classics finals match with the Authors of Pain where Paul Ellering was suspended in a shark cage and Shane Thorne went ahead and dove off the shark cage. It was a huge spectacle at a TakeOver match. And injuries and just being overlooked has plagued these guys over the past several months. So here they are fighting against the Street Profits. Montez Ford from the Street Profits starts against Nick Miller, and Ford counters a back body block drop with an impressive flip and into a wheel kick. Ford is an incredible athlete, man. He tags in Dawkins, who launched Ford into a double drop kick. He launched his own partner midair, and this allowed him to take out both members of TM61, who occupied the ring following the tag. This was a nice spot. Angelo Dawkins got too flashy and cocky, though. He missed the Revolution Stinger Splash, where he runs at his opponent in the corner, jumps in the air, does a 360, and goes for the Stinger Splash. It looks dumber than it sounds. It sounds cool. It looks dumb. So he misses this, and then here comes some tandem offense from TM61. Shane Thorne hits a standing moonsault while Nick Miller hits a fist drop. They do it simultaneously. It always looks great. This gets a near fall. They keep Angelo Dawkins grounded here near their corner, and the crowd is split 50-50 between the two teams. Nick Miller works the grounded headlock until Dawkins escapes and meets Miller with the clothesline. They both think the same thing here and take one another out with the clothesline. They're both down. The crowd is clapping, trying to hype them up to their feet. Both make hot tags to Montez Ford on the Street Profit side and Shane Thorne on the TM side. And it's easy to see where the fire from Street Profits come from with this hot tag. This match just got turned up many, many notches once Ford was afforded the opportunity to get in the match. Ford with the impressive, he got tagged in and he did a very impressive frontward somersault over the ropes. He makes everything look great. Ford levels Thorne and Miller on the outside, flying back elbow to Shane Thorne in the corner, and he sends him to the apron. He hits a boot onto Nick Miller, who's on the outside, who tries to run interference. He keeps Nick Miller incapacitated on the floor. Off the ropes, Ford goes for a sunset flip to get the pin, and Thorne counters into a matchbook cover, stretches his feet out, gets his feet on the ropes. Nick Miller holds his feet on the ropes to assist in stealing the pin, and Ford was on the roll, but I thought that was it. But behind the ref's back, much to the surprise of everyone, TM61 break the rules to win. They haven't been a heel team. They haven't ever resorted to any heel tactics, but resorting to the referee's, lack of attention, they were able to steal the victory here. With so many injuries and so much time wasted, they had to do what they had to do to win. The Street Profits are left looking dejected and confused in the ring, and I didn't see this one coming, honestly. Up next, we have a video package highlighting the tale of the tape between Heavy Machinery and the War Raiders. Now, Tucker Knight and Otis Dogovich from Heavy Machinery combined, their team weight is 650 pounds. Tucker Knight stands at 6'2", 320 pounds, and Otis Dogovich stands at 5'10" and weighs 330 pounds. These guys are going up against the War Raiders next week. Hansen is 6'2", 305 pounds, and Rowe is 6'1", 247 pounds, and that was the War Raiders stats I gave you there. The total mass that's going to be in that ring next week is over half a ton. It's going to be 1,200 pounds of man just slamming against each other in the ring next week. And after they go over the stats, they recap the post-takeover match, where the War Raiders decimated Tino and Moss, and the Heavy Machinery as they were having a match. The War Raiders then say, after the video package, that it is the same everywhere they go. everyone falls to the War Raiders. In Heavy Machinery, the war here in NXT starts with you. They cut to Heavy Machinery saying that they are not going to make a name off of them. They are not going to allow the War Raiders to capitalize by making a name off of Heavy Machinery. And I've never seen Heavy Machinery this fired up. They says that they are coming for war, and this massive match is going to take place next week. And as Brock Lesnar said before, it's going to be ugly, people. Kona Reeves vignette, it's the same one. This is the third time we're seeing it now, and I guess his gimmick is that he is an unattractive guy thinking that he is attractive. His match is coming up pretty soon tonight. Kathy Kelly interviews Cassius Ohno backstage, and he says that he's known Johnny Gargano for 10 years. He knows how he is, he knows how stubborn he is, and he knows how big of a heart he has. He's called Tommaso Ciampa a coward, some weird word that I didn't catch. He used too big of a word for me to process. And he said that Johnny is family to him. Cassius also says that someone needs to help Tommaso Ciampa feel helpless, just like Johnny Gargano did on that stretcher last week, and it'll be him. Yeah, oh no, we'll see how that goes for you. So I imagine in the coming weeks we'll see Cassius Ohno against Tommaso Ciampa, which should be a great match. I'd like to see Ciampa work a singles match against someone other than Johnny Gargano. We haven't seen that yet. I want to see how he's going to do, how his in-ring style has changed, and how big of a push he's going to get on the other side of the Johnny Gargano feud. Because if Johnny moves up or Johnny moves on to a title picture, they're going to have to put these two in different scenarios. They're not going to be able to play off the chemistry of one another. So they need to get these guys used to working other talent. Johnny Gargano has worked NXT championship matches. These guys have a tag team, have worked very, very other many talents. But Tommaso Ciampa as a singles wrestler, I don't know much about. I'd like to see where they develop him. All right, and up next, as promised, the debut of Kona Reeves, and he is taking on Patrick Scott, some local talent, I imagine. Kona Reeves sucks. His music, his attire, everything about him was contained in the vignette that we've seen over the past 3 weeks. Reeves is apparently inspired by The Rock. He has very basic ring gear here. Nothing looks impressive. He reminds me of a very, very, very unpolished Bo Dallas. There are forearms, hard strikes, and yelling as Patrick Scott is getting beat up in the corner. He tries to bar the arm of Kona Reeves, who shoots him into the ropes for a hard back elbow. Here we go, back into the corner, and there's some more boots and hard clubbing blows, dropping Scott to the corner. Kona continues to yell that he's the finest and says his name over and over again. There's a gut-wrench suplex and a reverse elbow from the second rope as Kona dives off backwards, hitting an elbow. He then hit a modified version of the Samoan drop, where the opponent landed on their front side for a 3 count. And this was a dud. This was bland. I don't see star here. Hopefully they do something with Kona to change my mind. I thought that Velveteen Dream was going to come out and attack this guy and say, you know what, you're messing up my ambiance. You're not the finest anything. I am. But this was boo-boo. There's a vignette for my favorite wrestler in NXT, EC3. He makes his in-ring debut to Full Sail next week. He says that the 5-star match that he was in was only the beginning of his career, and imagine what every match going forward will be like. He is arriving next week, and he's finally going to turn NXT into NX3. We shoot to an interview segment. I'm scrolling through my notes here. There's a lot of interviews and vignettes here tonight. Dakota Kai is being interviewed, and she compliments Ember Moon and the Iconics on Raw and SmackDown respectively for what they've done. The reporters that are interviewing Dakota Kai ask her how she is handling being intimidated by Shayna, and she says that she doesn't want to talk about it. Out of nowhere, here comes Vanessa Bourne. Vanessa Bourne is a competitor who we first saw in the Mae Young Classic Women's Tournament. She reminds me of Layla, who was partnered with Michelle McCool. Layla at first came out with the really curly afro-like hair, perfect skin tone, great body. Vanessa Bourne reminds me very much so of Layla minus the in-ring ability. She says that she's not intimidated by Shayna. Vanessa said that if she was put in that position, that she would have slapped the taste out of Shayna's mouth. I'm sure that would have happened. And Dakota Kai says that she's not afraid of Vanessa Bourne. She may have problems with Shayna, but she's not afraid of Bourne. So I imagine we'll get that match in the future as well. Dakota Kai, she reminds me of Bayley. I guess it's just the way she looks. She's from New Zealand. She has to weigh 105 pounds, soaking wet with a brick in her pocket. She has these very, very vicious kicks. She's a great in-ring talent. We haven't seen her work very much lately on NXT. We've seen her cower in fear to Shayna in a lot of these backstage segments. We finally get to see some in-ring action associated with the storyline. And they need to put some fire on this burner because the NXT women's division isn't so hot right now. And as I say that, I go to the next match, which is Bianca Belair against Candice LeRae. And mark my words, when Bianca Belair gets better, she will have a major, major top spot on Monday Night Raw. This chick has an 8-pack. Biceps and triceps that pop, beauty, and a built-in weapon of that braid that she can just whip people with. Bianca takes control of Candice LeRae early in this match with a side headlock and a shoulder block, just showing Candice, hey, you're freaking tiny, you're not going to knock me down. Boom, take the shoulder block. She goes for another scoop slam, and this scoop slam is countered into a Hurricane Rana by Candice LeRae, and a quick pin by Candice for a quick victory, but she does not get it. Candice goes for a cross body block off the top rope, and she's countered into a scoop slam for a near fall. And wow, this next spot, I posted a link in the group. Unbelievable. Candice is down on the mat, and Bianca goes and lifts her. She deadlifts her off the mat into a military press over her head. I haven't seen a guy deadlift and military press anyone in a long time in either roster. So she threw Candice into the turnbuckle for snake eyes. This was a great spot. She then continues to dominate here. She puts Candice onto her shoulders, bending her vertebrae over her shoulders in a torture rack. Every time that Bianca jumps and bounces as she has Candice in the torture rack, I imagine that the bouncing jolts pain and sends pressure through Candice's spine. Candice is then able to flip out of the submission and backs Bianca into the corner with a flurry of emotional strikes. Candice goes to the top rope, hits a missile drop kick, and goes for a tornado DDT, but she is countered by Bianca's strength, who just throws her off into the middle of the ring. Candice then hits the alley-oop bomb, where she goes for a power bomb, brings the person up, and just throws them over her head. She gets a 3 count off for this move, and it seems as if Candice was not mentally prepared for such a phenomenon as Bianca Belair. Go watch this match. Go check out the star power that is just beaming off of Bianca Belair. She's going to be more famous than her boo, Montez Ford, at this rate. Candice appears to have a heavy, broken heart as she wonders about the condition of her husband. More devastation is added as a result of this loss, but a celebration for Bianca continues as she recorded the biggest win in her career here. This was a great match. As I said, the women's division is still kind of on a slow burn. These two right here are some talents that are going to help make it look great over the next few months. They're going to pump some excitement into it. These are your two women who, this is your top baby face, and this could be your top heel. These two women are going to carry that division. The main event here is Pete Dunne against Roderick Strong. Now, the story behind this is that Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong were teaming up in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament. They were doing well. They made it all the way to the finals. You know, Pete Dunne carried the UK Championship along with him, and Roderick Strong had a former shot at the title. He failed at winning the UK Championship, but he was on his way to winning the Tag Team Championships because in the finals, it was Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong against the Undisputed Era for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Cup, and the Tag Team Championships. And I forgot to mention that AOP was also involved in the match. So Roderick Strong did betray Pete Dunne in the TakeOver match. He joined the Undisputed Era and is now one portion of the NXT Tag Team Championship. So smart decision he may have made there. And oh damn, as the bell rang, before I get to the match, Roderick Strong came out alone, first to his old theme music, and he sat on the stage until the theme transitioned into the Shock the System, bringing out the rest of the Undisputed Era with him, minus Bobby Fish. And what a sight to behold. All four competitors at ringside are champions. Oh, so, as I said, oh damn, Pete Dunne exploded and started this match with a forearm that dropped Roderick Strong into the corner. And he's pissed. He's just letting out so much aggression here. Outside of the ring, Dunne flies after Roderick Strong with a forearm, and he throws Roddy back into the ring, chases after him only to have Roderick Strong pick up Dunne and give him a pendulum backbreaker. Roderick Strong is the messiah of backbreakers, so prepare to see a lot of different variations of the backbreaker here. Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong end up on the outside again, and Roderick perfectly times a drop kick to hit Pete Dunne as he tries to dive off the apron one too many times with a flying forearm. Roderick Strong then picks up Pete Dunne into a reverse fireman's carry position, kind of like a torture rack, and he throws Pete Dunne onto the apron back first, kind of like a modified power bomb, and this just made my spine hurt. I'm sure this damaged Pete Dunne's back a little bit. Roderick Strong surprisingly has the upper hand for most of this match. As he gets Pete Dunne back into the ring, he works him with some grounded submissions. He stomps at the lower limbs and other extremities of Pete Dunne, methodically breaking him down, and he slowed down the match very, very much. Pete Dunne countered a suplex attempt into an X-plex. An X-plex is a release suplex where you don't fall with your opponent, you just kind of toss them after they reach the apex of the suplex. As Pete Dunne opens a door here for an opportunity for offense, he tries to will his way into this match, and he exchanges strikes with Roderick Strong. He hits a Daniel Bryan-like backflip into the corner into a step of enziguri. At this point, Pete Dunne is getting back into it. It seems like he has the upper hand, and he turns his attention to the Undisputed Era on the outside, who aren't really bothering him. He just kind of wants to check in, make sure that they aren't doing any wrong. But this timely distraction that he gave himself allowed Roderick Strong to come back into the match and, deliver some more offense. Roderick turned this opportunity into a great one. He had Pete Dunne draped on the ropes, just like Randy Orton usually does his draping DDT. He converted this draping position into a double arm backbreaker. He flipped him over from the ropes, hit a backbreaker. I don't know how he did it. It looked crazy good. That got a near fall. So Roderick Strong is just expending all of his energy here, trying to wear down Pete Dunne. And Pete Dunne locks in Roderick Strong into a submission. He tries to take advantage of Roderick Strong depleting his energy tank, but Roderick escapes the arm bars. Pete Dunne goes to the top rope and is kicked down by Roderick Strong. Roderick joins him at the top rope and hits an avalanche angle slam from the top and hits a back press pin, hooking the leg for a kick out. The crowd thought that it was done here. I thought that it was done here, but the match goes on. Roderick yells at Pete Dunne, telling him to stay down, and all of the Undisputed Era echo his sentiments here because they're tired of seeing their buddy get beat up. And Pete Dunne's coming back. He stops a strike from Roddy and opens an opportunity for him to take this match. He damn near breaks the fingers of Roderick Strong as he stops a punch. He just separates all his fingers real quick. Looks like he wanted to break them. Pete Dunne then hit the pump handle flatliner, the bitter end, his finisher, onto Roderick Strong. He's surely going to get pinned here. 1, 2, And then here come Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, of course, to break up the pen and to beat down Pete Dunne. The match ends in a disqualification. They're just beating the heck out of Pete Dunne at this point. And here come Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, who challenged for Adam Cole's championship last week, to make the save. So all three fend off the Undisputed Era, and standing tall at the end of the night in the middle of the ring are Danny Burch, Pete Dunne, and Oney Lorcan. So look forward to seeing some sort of six-man between these two teams in the coming weeks. All in all, this was a decent episode of NXT, not as good as the episode we had last week. A lot of developing things, I think, took place last week. And this week, just kind of settling in until we get to the next pay-per-view. I believe the next takeover isn't until the weekend of Money in the Bank. So we just gotta try to hang in there until some more interesting thing happens. We didn't have any Tommaso on the show, no Johnny Gargano on the show. Aleister Black was not on the show at all. Shayna Baszler wasn't here. We didn't even see the NXT Tag Team Champions. Oh, we did see them. What am I talking about? It's early. It's early for me. Sorry, guys. But with how they tape, they usually tape a lot of episodes at once. So I'm sure this taping was the same taping as last week. So next week, I'm sure we'll see some of these recurring characters again. Just really quickly, I wanted to talk about some hot topics here relating to the NXT universe. Leo Rush, who infamously tweeted that Emma wasn't ready for Asuka after she got fired. He's releasing a single. He apparently has a music career. He's going to be releasing a rap single. And if it was up to me, I would focus on his in-ring career and try to focus on getting better and getting some more television time. Because he's great. Everyone wants to see this guy work. I know that Ricochet's there and we don't need a flip, flap, fly guy because we already have one. But who's to say that we don't need more talent to develop? Leo Rush should be there. I don't really care to hear his single, but if you do, look out for it. Ember Moon's husband, independent wrestler Matthew Palmer, he apparently has a racist and sexist gimmick, which is a thing in 2018, I guess. He was wearing a shirt that said King of the Black Woman. Now, when I first saw this, I immediately jumped to Twitter and said, hey, can you lose this shirt? You're not the king of my mom. You're not the king of any of the black women I know. And let's just think best case scenario here. Okay, Matthew Palmer is a white male. And I don't know if I could walk around any city in California with a shirt that says King of the White Women on it, because I would be beat up, maybe killed and dragged behind a vehicle quicker than you could say asparagus. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. Best case scenario, he was a black guy wearing a shirt that said King of the Black Women. Now, do you really think any strong, intelligent black woman would want any man, regardless of any ethnicity, saying that he is the king of the female gender? That's crazy. I don't see any positivity coming out of that. I see the controversy in it, but if you're not well known to play off of that, then people are going to think you're an asshole. I don't understand who... Yeah, that's crazy to me. I don't understand the logic and that being a great idea at all. Last and not least, I wanted to speak on two former NXT champions, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. They had a match for the Intercontinental Championship on Monday Night Raw this past week, and it was the main event, was it not? It was fantastic. I just am so proud to see that two guys from NXT made it out and they're able to entertain. They're able to have an incredible match on Monday Night Raw, and they came from the Yellow brand in Full Sail. There was a statistic released that 80% of the current roster came from NXT. They were developed in NXT or they had something to do with NXT. So that's a great statistic. And it really is where they develop their talent, where they swell up a lot of the great names and some duds. But I'm honored to be here and review it and talk about the things that go on. That's about it for the show. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for tuning in if you did so. It's a slow week here in NXT, so hopefully next week I'll have some better things to bring you. Until then, this was Season 2, Episode 4 of WhenXT. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day. I will catch you next time. Adios.